All right, in this video, I'm going to introduce the reading from Brynjolfsson and McAffee, a book called The Second Machine Age. So this book, these two economists are very well known, and this book is, I think, one of the more famous books to discuss the way that automation will affect the future of work, which is the topic that we're discussing. So we're actually going to have a reading from the book today, and then also I think that I have a second reading to the book when we talk about UBI. So this part that I'm having you read today is about technological unemployment and the reasons why we might think that there will be technological unemployment as automation progresses, or potentially not. Okay, so Brynjolfsson and McAfee come up with 3 reasons from theory that we might expect there to be technological unemployment. And I'm not 100% sure that I totally understand the first one about elasticity of demand. It's not always clear to me whether they're talking about demand in one sector of the economy or demand in the entire economy. We might expect that robots or automation would eliminate jobs in one part of the economy and then create jobs in another part of the economy. The other issue with that, especially when we're talking about the number of jobs, is there's this old observation that I associate with international trade that says that the number of jobs is not fixed. There's a labor market. Okay, so if you have a certain amount of people who would like to work, then there's some wage at which the labor market will clear. Okay, so the quantity of jobs, if you like, adjusts in the medium run. In the short run, of course, there's all sorts of frictions and things like that. But in the medium run, then the number of jobs kind of depends on the number of people that want jobs. Of course, the price, the wage, can change, can fall. So that's important. Just to say one word, the end of the chapter compares trade and automation, and I think that that's a very important comparison, and the effects that international trade has on an economy are very close to the effects that automation has on an economy. We can talk about it a bit more in class, but it's kind of a famous point, and you'll actually see here that the way that Brynjolfsson and McAfee talk about trade, they say, many of the points we made about automation, you can also make those about international trade. And I think economists especially have been talking about international trade. That's sort of a central field of economics, or it has been for 200 years. So a lot of these same arguments work in the same way. If you had my trade course as an undergraduate, or if you had a trade course, then you might have learned something about comparative advantage. So in a Ricardian model of international trade with comparative advantage, even countries that are worse at everything can benefit from international trade, and the reason why is because they have a comparative advantage. I think that's an important point to think about when you read the Android example from this reading as well. In particular, one of the Android examples here is that androids can do everything that humans can do, except for one thing. And I think the example in the reading is cooking. So then I think that McAfee and Brynjolfsson want to argue that then, because of competition for cooking jobs, it means that wages in the cooking industry are going to go down. But I actually don't think it's quite so clear. If you think about it from this Ricardian comparative advantage framework, real wages could very well could very well rise, even for the large number of people that all want to cook, because these androids can do everything so inexpensively. Okay, so even though everybody wants to be a cook, there's tons of competition for cooking jobs. Wages in the cooking industry are now extremely low, nominal wages or something like that. Real wages could be very high since robots can do everything. These androids that we're positing could do everything very cheaply. So anyway, I think there's a lot of things to talk about or to think about in this reading. There's things that we might agree with, things we might disagree with, and I think that would be interesting to talk about. So I look forward to that.